Right now we're on a very bumpy road to Kamrangjor, which is basically the southernmost point of Dhaka. This place has sort of become the epicenter of like the plastic recycling industry. The Buriganga is known as like one of the most polluted rivers in the world. And you know, in the water you can see that there's like little trash islands that have formed. There's gas coming out of the water, most likely methane. And you know, all of this plastic that ends up in this river eventually washes out into the Bay of Bengal and into the ocean. Yeah, so what we have here, we're on the riverbank itself, and this is sort of an unofficial dump site. This is where the waste comes and then is deposited first. It's all sorts of plastics that end up here. I mean, here you have just a big pile of plastic sack that's made out of plastic fibers. Kokonbai here roots through this plastic and finds the type of thing that he can then sell on to a processor or a recycler. So if you see here, you have a bunch of packaging which has come straight from the factory. For whatever reason, this was not used, this didn't go to market. This is how the plastic, after it's collected, arrives at the processing plant. Each one of these sacks weighs about 140 kilos. The owner of this factory told us that they get through about 5 or 6 of these sacks per day. Without recyclers like this, plastic would be everywhere. The first thing you'll notice when you come in here is the smell of burning plastic. It is absolutely unbearable. I don't really know how they work in these conditions all day. If you see this machine right here, they're melting the plastic. They put the fiber in there and it comes out as this sort of black tar-like paste, which is then hardened into these discs and then processed later on as black plastic. This is then taken to the other side of the road to this machine where it's shredded into smaller pieces. All of those things are then sold somewhere else to make plastic like this. So one of the things I think that best highlights how unregulated and unplanned this entire industry is. This is a river pillar, a boundary pillar for the Buriganga River. By court order, the river is supposed to be here, but instead you see we have a road that's been built and this factory has just been built around this pillar. So we're here with Mr. Babul Hussain. He's making these bowls. This machine is what forms them into the shape. What they do here is they combine shredded plastic with new plastic beads to make these ready for market products. So in addition to bowls, they're also making little buckets, lids, this type of netted bowls as well. Plastic factories are set up along the river because they need water. It's easier to clean the plastic. The plastic has to be unsoiled when it's processed. So they use the river for that. But what happens because the plastic industry here is so unregulated, unstructured, is that there's massive leakage into the river. These are not specialized facilities. They're being brought, the waste is dumped next to the river for the collection, and a large part of it then ends up coming into the river and causing harm to the waterways. If you look at the water here, it's black. There's nothing alive in this river. And a large part of that is because the bottom soil, there's a layer of polythene and plastic that is formed. Dhaka's plastic recycling industry is essential for handling Dhaka's overflowing waste management, but it's drowning under the amount of plastic that comes into it every day. Without a reduction in production, we're not going to see a reduction in consumption of plastics. That's why we have to say no to plastic.